So in this video, we're going to be continuing where we left off for graphing systems of linear inequalities. So we left off with part C. I'm going to go ahead and number my equations by color. So my first equation is in green and my second equation is in pink. Feel free to use a different color if you can't see the colors very well. Now for the first equation here, I noticed the y is not by itself. Remember, the first step for solving, it says in the directions above, is to solve for y. Then we can actually graph them. So if I were to do that for C, I have to get the y by itself. So I'm going to, since I don't have a lot of room here, I'm going to rewrite the equation down below so I can work it out. So if I divide by -2, remember these are inequalities. So that cancels, but that causes me to switch the signs. And that would be y is less than now. And -4 divided by -2 is positive 2x. And so from here, I can see my equation is y is less than or equal to 2x. If I were to graph that, there is no y-intercept here. So my y-intercept for this one is 0, whereas my slope here is this 2 that's in front of x, so 2 over 1. So my intercept starts at 0. I would have to go up 2 over 1. You can go up multiple times. You don't have to. I usually like to go up 1 and then down. So down 2 over 1. And then I need to draw a solid line because this inequality has an equal sign. So going ahead and doing that, trying to make it nice, but oh well. Then from here, I have my graph. I need to do my shading. So this says y is less than this 2x. So if it's less than, that means I need to shade for y's that are less than. So these are y values that are less than because it's pointing towards the negative y. So I need to shade below this line. I'm going to go ahead and do that. So just coloring it in green here to show that these are the y values where it would be represented, which is below the line, since we need y's that are less than this equation. All right, there we go. And then for the second equation, I'm just going to go ahead and rewrite that equation down here to work it out. So working this part out, to get the y by itself, the 2 needs to go over to that side. So I'm going to add 2 to both sides. That would cancel. Y would come down. Inequality comes down. The -1/2 x and the positive 2 are not like terms, so they just come down joined together since I can't combine the like terms. Now that y is by itself, here is my equation I need to graph. And this y says I have an intercept at 2 and intercept at 2, positive 2 for B, and a slope of -1 over 2. So if I go to the y-axis for my y-intercept, I go to positive 2. And I use my slope, so -1, 2, so that's down 1 over 2. Or you could go up 1 and over 2 to the left if you want to go the opposite direction to extend your line. And I need a dash line because this inequality does not have an equal sign underneath it. So if I were to make some dash lines here to connect the dots, I can further extend this line out. There we go. And now I just need to do my shading here. So it says that y is less than this equation. If y is less than this equation, I'm also going to be shading below this line towards where y is a negative y value. So y is less than this equation, so you want to shade below the line. And now we're going to check where the intersection is. So where the intersection is where the two colors meet. So my shading says that it meets right here. So let me box that in to kind of show. So the intersection meets kind of down in the lower quadrants. And I'll just point to say where my intersection is. So this is what x and y values satisfied both of these equations. For the next part here, both of the equation needs to be solved for y because a y is not by itself. So I'm going to go ahead and number them first. So first, second, I'm going to take the first equation and try to get the y by itself. If I were to do that, maybe I'll move the 4x over to try to get the y by itself. I need to subtract over 4x to do that. So that completely removes that term. And now I'm left with 3y is less than 9 minus 4x. From here, I can try to divide by -3, but anytime I'm dividing by a negative number and this is an inequality, remember, we need to switch the sign. So the -3's cancel, y comes down, but I'm going to switch the signs, and then I'm going to go ahead and divide this side. So 9 divided by -3, -3. These are two negative signs, so when I divide, it become a positive, 4 over 3x. So from here, I can try to graph this line, and this is at -3 for my y-intercept. And I can see my slope is 4 over 3. So if it helps, sometimes writing that out can help you process what is it that you need to plot. So you always need the y-intercept, which in this case, -3. I'm going to plot that dot. And then 4 over 3 is going to be going up 4 units. So 1, 2, 3, 4 over 3, 1, 2, 3. So that would get me around right there. And then what type of line do I need? Well, this here has an inequality and it doesn't have an equal sign, so I need a dash line. So I'm going to make a dash line to show that. And just going to extend it a little bit further. I might just go down another 4 and over 3 just to extend this line and be a little bit more accurate. You don't have to. You need at least 2 points to make a line, so as long as you have 2 points. From here, I'm going to do my shading. So looking at this equation here, this says y is bigger than this equation. If y is bigger, we're going to be shading above this line because here's all the positive and the big y values are positive. So we're shading above. All right, once you have your shading down, we need to do the other equation here. So don't forget your second equation. I have x plus 3y is greater than 6. So from here, I need to try to get this y by itself. I need to subtract x over to both sides. And then I'm left with 3y is greater than 6 minus x. So if I divide by 3, this is a positive 3 I'm dividing by, so I don't need to have to worry about the signs. So I'm dividing by a positive 3. I don't need to switch the signs. The y comes down. I'm going to write it over here. And it's greater than, let's see, 6 divided by 3 is 2. Minus, let's see, there's a 1 in front of the x, so 1 divided by 3, or 1 over 3x. And then this here's my equation because the y is now by itself. My slope here looks like it's -1/3, and my y-intercept here is the constant, which is 2. So I have to go up to 2, and because this is -1/3, I have to go down 1 and over 3. So this way. Or I could go up 1 and over 3 to go the opposite direction. And the line that I need here, it looks like a dash line because there is no line or equal sign. So I'm going to use a dash line to show. And then from here, I'm going to do some shading. So it says y is bigger than this equation. If y is bigger, we need to shade above for the bigger y values or the more positive y values. So here we go. And then it looks like my intersection here is here in the top corner. So this is where the two colors meet, and that is my intersection. So this is where all the x and y values satisfied both of these equations. So that's it for this video. I hope you found it helpful. Let me know if you guys have any questions. Bye, guys.